Hola, it just started. I normally have to click a button for it to start. Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're all doing well. It's been a long time since I've done a stream. Had a little bit of a quiet couple of weeks with not too much client work going on. I've had an opportunity to chill and kind of focus on some other hobbies and personal tasks. Had a really, really busy summer, and that was good. So it's nice to have an opportunity to reset a little bit. If you're here in the chat, drop a little hi, hello, let me know where you're watching from. Always good to see everybody. And as long as we're loud and clear, I think we're doing pretty good. Today's stream, we're going to waste no time with once we kind of do a little bit of a warm up and let YouTube disperse the notifications to bring the party in. Italy, awesome. Welcome. Glad to have you. We're going to be looking at the new CodeWP AI generator website from James LePage. And I'm sure, like many of you, ChatGPT is a huge asset to me in terms of development for a lot of projects in a variety of different ways. It can help, brainstorming for content, or custom code functions is really helpful. I've done some stuff with like Google Apps scripts for Google Sheets, which is way outside my wheelhouse, but it worked. I've done stuff with gravity forms and ACF and all kinds of things like that. So in terms of, ChatGPT being a valuable asset, it definitely is. So I'm interested in CodeWP because if it's, focused specifically for WordPress and some of the other, plugins that we use on a regular basis in WordPress, then it could be very compelling. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving this a go. Curious, for those of you that are in the chat, what does your workflow look like? Are you using ChatGPT on the regular? I would imagine you probably are in some way, or some sort of other AI tool now, especially that that the OpenAI tools have their image generator in it. I just canceled my Midjourney subscription. I didn't really use it all that much, to be honest. So I don't really use the image generation nearly as much. I do sometimes for like post thumbnails and for like background gradients and images and stuff like that. But not really for like not necessarily always for featured images. So what is it called? DALL-E 4 inside of the ChatGPT. That works well enough for me. So yeah, today we're just going to be taking a look at CodeWP, see how it stacks up. I'm just going to try some code snippets and things that I've done successfully with ChatGPT just to see how well it works inside of this plugin. And maybe if you have suggestions while you're watching, or you have ideas that you want me to try, we can go ahead and give it a go. In terms of this particular software, I've not used it at all. So the title of this stream being first look, it really is a first look. So there might be a little bit of, fumbling here and there, but I'm hoping that will be some useful feedback for James and the team to just see how a new user interacts with it real time. I went ahead and got my account activated, and James was kind enough to bump me up to the pro membership. So shout out, James. I appreciate that. So I have a couple of ideas in terms of code snippets that I want to create. It's going to take a little bit of setup on the website itself for it to make sense, so we'll do that together. But I'm also curious if you have ideas or things that you want me to look at specifically, then we can do that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and switch my screen over here, get this lined up like so. Hey, awesome. Glad to have you. Flying Web Solutions from Ireland. Welcome. Here we go. Pop myself in here. I'm going to go ahead and just move myself over here. So if at some point I'm probably going to have to move myself out of the way if I'm blocking something, you can shout at me in the chat and let me know. So this is the kind of main dashboard interface when we log in. Some of the stuff I want to look at, of course, is the ACF generator, gravity forms, and then what else? I saw Facet WP. I use WP Grid Builder, so I installed that on my demo site, and we'll kind of take a look at that. But we can also just play around with general snippets. There's a lot of things that I find myself doing with ChatGPT, like making custom shortcodes or like custom functions that are pretty small but are typically pretty useful. So there's just a variety of things that we could cover here. So in terms of what I want to do first, I think what we'll do is probably just get it to generate a WordPress snippet, something relatively basic, like maybe just printing out somebody's email address. And then that way we can just kind of see how it works. So here in the dashboard, I will just click on WordPress, and it created a new snippet for me. Okay, so I guess I put my prompt in down over here. So I guess I better move this out of the way into your prompt. So what I'm going to say is, I need you to write me a, I guess I don't need to say custom WordPress function, because that's what I typically say in ChatGPT, because I want it to kind of hone in on that WordPress custom snippet functionality. But because this particular tool is geared towards WordPress and I clicked on the WordPress button, I guess I don't need to do that anymore. So let's restart this. So I'm going to say, write me a snippet that will display the currently logged in user's email address via a short code. Okay, press enter. Oh, command or control enter. All right, so now it says waiting for assistant. It creates a plugin. Okay, interesting. I think I might have, I saw people mentioning that it creates a plugin. Does everything get stacked inside of this one plugin? Like if you start to make more snippets? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Well, Flying Web says, do you think CodeWP could be helpful to create a plugin? I mean, it's doing it, so I think it probably would be. Yeah, that is really cool. So now, is there a way to download this? Unnamed package. What does that do? Gives you a crazy little download zip thing. Okay, so let me go back. I want to rename this. I'm going to delete this one from the other day so I don't confuse myself. And then edit metadata. So we'll call this user details. And then what else? Snippet description. What does generate changes do? User details index.php. Okay. And then I guess technically you could just grab this function and drop that in. But since it's a plugin, what do you do with it? Is this it? Okay. So I'm going to go add a new plugin, and we're just going to pop that in. Oh, nope. Where'd it go? Oh, it just downloaded the PHP file. That's interesting. Okay, so that's not really what I was hoping it would do. Maybe I'm just clicking the wrong button. I wanted to try to download the actual plugin because it's generating a plugin header at the top. Is that not how it works? Packages? What does packages do? Files, name. Okay, here we go. My custom plugin. Description, test. Package type, snippet group or plugin. Generate package. New folders with snippet generated. Download package. So I wonder if that's a plugin. Let's see. Did it work? Custom user email shortcode. Okay. Interesting. So now I should just be able to go to my homepage, drop in a shortcode, and then, what is it? Current user email. Like this. Yep. Okay, so that works. That's got my currently logged in email address right there, which is solid. Okay. So that's a little bit more cumbersome for something really basic like this. I think what makes the most sense is to just grab this, and instead of doing the whole plugin, mumbo jumbo, we would go to WP Codebox, we would just paste this in, and we would achieve the exact same thing just by creating a simple snippet like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, oh, there we go. I broke it because I accidentally turned that on. Oh no. Oh, brutal. Hopefully this didn't take down the whole site. It did. Of course it did. Cool. So that's great. I'm an absolute clown. Let me go disable that plugin via the database real quick. I thought WP Codebox had like a safe mode situation that automatically would prevent stuff like that. WP one momento. WPCB snippets. Here we go. Delete. Boom. So now we should be back. There we go. Okay, cool. So in case you're not familiar with why that just happened, it's because I have the same function defined twice, once in this plugin and once in WP Codebox. So now I just need to delete this, and I could safely stick that in WP Codebox. Got it. So now I have a little bit of progress, obviously, with making my first snippet. So let's do something a little bit more complex. What I want to do this time is, let's just go back to our dashboard. And I want to do something with advanced custom fields. So that would be a typical use case for me. It's going to be something like ACF or gravity forms or something like that. So we're going to go with ACF. And first of all, what I want to do is we're going to go create a new ACF field group. And we're just going to call this user data. And then let's go ahead and put in a select field. Our field label is going to be team. Our choices are going to be team 1, team 2, and team 3. And the reason why I'm doing this particular example is because I had a real life client use case where I needed to put users in teams, and then I needed to take their email address and put it in an ACF field that it was associated with each team. So we would want to go here. This is probably cut off on the screen here, but I'm going to say current user, let's see, user form is equal to add or edit. So that's what I want here. So that ACF field is going to show up on the user profile. So now if I come over here, we can just edit this person, and we should see that field down here at the bottom. Yeah, so team 1 is perfect. I want to go ahead and edit just a couple of these people. So this person is going to be team 2, and then this person is team 3. Perfect. So this tester 2 person should be team 1. Yep, solid. Okay, and then I'm going to put myself in team 2, just so we have something different here. Now, what I want to do, let's see. Oh, in my example from the client situation, we actually had an ACF options page. So let's go ahead and define one of those as well. Options page will just be, I'll just call this global, and we'll just save that. Then we'll have another field group, which is just team email addresses. It'll just be a simple text field, so team 1 emails. And then we're going to have team 2 emails. And then we're going to have team, text is what we want. Yep, team 3 emails, like that. Then we want to stick this in our options page is equal to global. Cool. So now what we're going to do is have CodeWP generate a snippet for us that automatically goes and queries the users, looks at what team they are, grabs their email addresses, and puts them in these ACF fields. We needed to do this in my client site situation because the gravity forms needed a way to look at who is in what team. And so this is how I managed to achieve it, which is maybe a little bit of a roundabout way. There's probably a better, more optimized way to do this, but it worked. And so I just wanted to try it. It took a long time, very, very, very long time for me to achieve this in ChatGPT. Not specifically this ACF part, but the gravity forms, like customizing notification. So if CodeWP makes it so that that's easier, then that's going to be just tremendous. Those sorts of highly specific things like gravity forms can be very challenging to do. One thing that I realized is that, or learned somewhat in the past, is that if you took the documentation for a plugin, if you're doing something custom like that, and you were like, I think what I need is in this documentation, you just copy and paste it into ChatGPT. Typically, it's like, oh, yep, here's what I need. So if you don't have to do that kind of thing with CodeWP, that would be cool. Hey, Dividus, good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so I forgot to ask. I have a new like fiber internet provider, and I'm trying to stream higher than the typical YouTube bitrate. Does the quality look better, or does it just look the same as it typically does on any other stream? I wasn't sure. YouTube is telling me my current bitrate is higher than recommended, but it doesn't give me any kind of warning. It's just a suggestion. So I was curious how that looks. So let's go back to CodeWP. So remember, we clicked on the ACF mode preset situation here. Looks sharp. Awesome. Glad to hear that. So we should be able to kind of tell this snippet to do exactly what we need. So let's just say, I wonder how specific I have to be. Like, do I have to say generate a function? I'm gonna be pretty vague, I think, because if it's trained on this stuff, it should know within a reasonable degree of certainty what we're actually after. So query my users and look at the ACF field called team. Then get the user's email address and add that to the global options page field according to their team. I don't know that that's actually clear enough. And I wish this text box was bigger. I want to be able to see more of this. Is there a way to expand this? What does this do? Inline code comments for Pro. That's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and turn that on. Doc block comments. Not sure what that is. Or OOP mode. Maybe we'll test that in a little bit. And then what does this link button do? Adding external links to the conversation is coming soon. Oh, okay. Okay, so, oh, there we go. That behaves very weirdly, but that does work. So query my users and look at the ACF field called team. That's what we called it, right? Yes. Then get the user's email address and add them to the global options page field according to their team. That may not work, but let's go ahead and just send this and try. Okay, so it's building the for each loop for our users here. If the team field is not empty, get the user's email address, get the current email of the team. Oh, I guess I didn't give it my actual option page name and the field associated with that options page. This PHP script starts by querying all users in your WordPress site. It then loops through each user and retrieves the value of the team field using the get field function from ACF. If the team field is not empty, the script gets the user's email address. Next, it retrieves the current emails of the user's team from the global options page. If the user's email is not already in the team. Okay, so I want to give it some clarity because I didn't, that the options page is global. I forgot to share with you that the options page is called global, and the fields on the options page are team 1 emails, team 2 emails, etc. Can you please modify the code to suit? Perfect. Keith says, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently it's much better from a security point of view to have your code snippets in a plugin. Yes, so that is definitely something that came up somewhat recently, and it certainly is because of the way that just that code interacting with the database has potential security flaws. So you should be putting them in a child theme or in a plugin, I think are kind of the optimal two. But, you know, for me, typically, it's kind of a balanced risk. So for me, if I'm going to do this, typically I'm doing it in a code snippets plugin. You know, it's balanced risk. It depends on what you want. This says, oops, something went wrong with the AI assistant. So did it finish? Where's the regenerate button? Did it work? It doesn't look like it did. Divided says, have the pro version, but I could not get it to work properly. Interesting. I'm going to just go ahead and give it the same prompt again because it seems like it errored out. It is cool to see this working, like editing the code in real time, because that's something that as you have more complex snippets in ChatGPT, it can be kind of difficult to get it to modify the code. You're going to have to be specific and say, you know, show me the portion that needs to be edited with line numbers and that kind of thing. This keeps saying, oops, something went wrong with the AI assistant. It seems like it makes the change and then suddenly it reverts. Okay, so can I edit my initial prompt or am I just stuck? It doesn't look like it. A lot of times, like with ChatGPT, you know, you can like, when you have a message, it will edit and then you can edit it and kind of restart in the same thread. So I guess I have to begin again? Or is there a way to clear the conversation? I guess not. Can I just delete this? Chat mode. Okay, I'm confused. Let's start again. We're gonna go with ACF, and this time I'm gonna try to make my prompt a little bit more clear. So I guess I could go with chat mode here so I can see it a bit better, right? Will this still be ACF? Is that my select mode? Okay, perfect, yep. I have to like expand this, whoa, Jesus. Expand this block to make it fit. That's very, very strange. Okay, so let's try this prompt again. Query my users and look at the ACF field called team, then get the user email address and add that to the global options page called global and the associated team fields according to their team. The possible team fields are team 1 emails, I think is what it was. Wrong one. Let's see. This is in our options page here. Yeah, so team 1 emails. And then we'll just say team 2 emails, etc. I'm not going to give it the full scope here because I want to see how well it can infer. So let's see if it can do it better this time. I am definitely disappointed that I couldn't modify that, and it seemed like it errored out both times I tried to prompt it again to kind of correct my initial prompt. So that's a little kind of troublesome, I guess. This seems to be a standard function as opposed to the plugin setup that the other view here in this kind of index.php thing. Yeah, interesting. Divided says, in my opinion, this should still, there's a little heart in the way. I don't know why that blocks your text. Should still be an alpha, sadly. Yeah, that's interesting. You said you've used it for a few hours and it kept crashing. I know James briefly mentioned to me that there was a large surge in traffic, so they were trying to kind of bump up their systems, but I'm sure they're just running around like just absolutely hair on fire trying to get this to work. So let's see. Let's see if we can get this function to work. So we're going to go to WP Codebox, and we're just going to say copy email addresses. Oops, that is not what I meant to do. Why did it not copy? Select, copy. It seems like it's not going to let me paste it again. That is super annoying. Okay, copied. And it doesn't copy. There's nothing on my clipboard. What the hell? What? How is that possible? Create a snippet. Okay, do I have to have to press that button? Can I copy this now? Copy. There we go. Holy shit. Okay, so if I save this, oh, I guess I have to give this, that's actually really interesting. So this function is not going to run. This is not going to run because there's no function and there's no action, like no hook associated with this. So this is just basically going to sit there and do nothing. I think ChatGPT would have inferred this. I'm pretty sure. Although I think I might have told it in my original prompt for this scenario in ChatGPT before that it needed to run on user edit. So can I go back and say, I forgot to tell you to run this whenever a user profile is edited. Let's just see if it can infer that I need it to run on the WordPress action of user update or profile update. Is that the right one? Add action profile update. So is it going to go rewrite this whole thing again? Don't scroll me back down. I'm trying to look at my stuff while you're generating. Look at that. I try to scroll up and it pushes me back down. That is super annoying. So I guess I just got to sit here and wait for it for a second. Let's see if it actually works though this time. I'm going to give it a chance. Let's see. Okay. Well, I can't copy it while this thing is talking to me because it's just going to keep sucking me back down to the bottom of the page. So now, oh, it's not going to let me copy it again. There we go. Okay. So let's double check this. Get the user's team. So get field on the user, which is team for that user ID. It doesn't have the query. I don't think. Okay, well, let's take a look. So current emails is get field team underscore, and then their team emails. I'm not sure that's going to work. Update field team. Okay, let's just save this and go turn it on. And then we should just have to go to like me, for instance, just update my profile. And then we should go look at our global field and it does not work. Okay. And the reason why I'm pretty sure is if we look at this part of the function, it's going to bring in this team, but that's not the proper formatting because if you go to a user's profile, the team options are text like that, whereas our actual ACF field is team underscore to underscore data, or email is the word. Let's tell it that that's wrong. So this did not work. The global options page ACF fields are formatted like this. ACF, user data. Oh wait. Yeah. I want the options page. Are formatted as individual text fields like this. Team 2 emails. Please modify the code to suit. Let's see if it can do this. What I think will work this time is if it just doesn't try to create some dynamic data for those teams and instead just kind of more hard codes it, which is fine. That's exactly what I did before. I think it just did the same thing again. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, it's not working how I want it to. So let's go back and I'm going to just copy this and we're going to just stick this into GPT-4 and see what it can come back with. So I'm just going to give it the exact, Actually, I don't think this is going to work without giving it a little bit more data to give it a fair crack at this. I need help writing a custom WordPress function. What it should do is, so that's what I would typically, format a ChatGPT prompt to look like. So I give it just enough to hone in on what I'm after, which is a custom WordPress function. So query my users and look at the ACF field called, I'm just going to send this, see what it can come up with. Oh, it's on Dolly 3. I didn't mean to do that. I wonder if it's smart enough to realize I didn't actually mean Dolly 3. Whoops. Default. There we go. It seems like it was going to work anyway, but I don't need an image of whatever this is. I want the actual function. Okay, so we'll compare these side by side, and I think this is going to be more about what we want, because one thing that's missing from the CodeWP situation is to loop through the users like that for each loop. Oh no, I'm wrong. Never mind. But it says users WP user query. Is that missing? Yeah, it just says get users. I was trying to see if that's the same thing. I'm not adept enough to understand whether it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this into WP Codebox, and I'm going to change this snippet title to CodeWP. I'll save this and turn it off. Then we're going to turn this on and say CGPT, and then, what did I say? Copy email addresses. So this is the ChatGPT one. We'll save this and turn it on. And then what I should need to do is just simply come in and update a user. Oh, it is mad about that. Let's see if we can turn this off and it not totally detonate our site. Turns out what I'm asking both of these tools to do is rather difficult. I know that it works though, because I've done this exact setup before. I'm sure my prompt was dramatically different, but I know that I can get this to work. Oh, I have a mistake down here, I think, in my syntax. Did I forget to copy some portion of this? This looks unfinished. I think I forgot to tell it the portion about, oh yeah, here we go. I did forget to tell it that. That's why it looks unfinished. So I'm just doing the same thing like I did for CodeWP. There we go. The actual action was missing from the end. So that makes a lot more sense. I was like, why is this not working? Why did that just completely detonate my site? That makes more sense, for sure. Now that we have some more folks here, for those of you watching, I was curious, how often are you using ChatGPT or CodeWP to create custom snippets and functions and stuff? Because that's pretty much what it is for me. Every once in a while, I'll get it to help me like come up with content ideas, but of course, I'm not having it write it for me. I'm just sort of brainstorming with it, but I use it like extensively for custom functions and stuff like this. Okay, so now we should be able to pop this in, save, enable this, and refresh, and it shouldn't blow up our site. Now we should be able to update and then go to our global page, and it didn't work, okay? What about our code is wrong here? I wonder if I need to change my prompt, because clearly this isn't working. At least we've concluded that this isn't a problem between, specific to CodeWP. It's something to do with my prompt, which is something to keep in mind. It's easy to blame these tools when there's operator error in the mix. I'm going to say So this did not work. Let me restate what I want to do. Each user on my site has an ACF field called team. That field is an ACF select field with options of team 1. Maybe that's the thing. I didn't tell it was an options field. That might be the problem. Team 3. I want the function to query all users on my site, check the value of the team field, and then add their email address to the corresponding global options page field. The options page fields are called, thought I could remember, evidently not. Yeah, here we go. Are called team 1 emails, team 2 emails, etc. Can you please modify the code to suit? Okay, I'm going to copy the exact same thing into CodeWP. And we're going to let both of these run and see what we get back. Divided says, ask what is the best way to do it. I reason with it all the time when trying to understand the concept rather than trying to feed it the prompt. That's a good point. I have a tendency to be more like directive at it. I want to just be like, do this and listen to me the first time rather than trying to like bounce ideas off of it. But that kind of goes back to what I said before about taking the documentation for a plugin and just dropping it in. And then, that actually is really effective because you can be like, is what I need in here? And a lot of times, at least with ChatGPT, you're able to get it to do what you want. Okay. This looks better. Looks more like what we want. However, oh, okay, the add action is at the top. It just looks different than the ChatGPT one. Let's just look at these side by side. So it made an extra inference. It says when a new user is registered, it's going to run this function again. But these do look more familiar. However, this is building an array for each field and adding the team to that array. Then it's going to update that field with the array items. So that seems kind of more what we're after. But let's give this a fair crack. And if I can copy this, hopefully I can, then we'll go back to, we'll turn this ChatGPT one off. We'll go back to our CodeWP one, save this and turn it on. I'm not going to close that tab just in case I accidentally break the site. I can easily revert that change. We'll say team 2, go to global. Okay, so this worked. However, it only brought in one of them. We should have multiple entries in each team. We're part of the way there. So can I turn on? No. Admin columns. That's actually something else we could do, is get it to create us a snippet for admin columns at the top, because I don't know which account is in which team. And that would be really helpful to know. Okay, but let's take a look. So this user, check this is in team 1, and then demo 1 is in team 2. Oh yeah, so look, so team 2 only has my email and it's missing the other ones. So let's go ahead and turn off the CodeWP one. I'm gonna come in here and delete all of the values here and refresh. I'm gonna just clear up some of my tabs here. We'll go back to ChatGPT and just copy all of what it gave us. Switch to the ChatGPT one, pop that in, save, and turn that on. Now what we should be able to do is go to users, just update someone, and go to our global page. Okay, so that worked. That's exactly what we wanted it to do, is put in the comma-separated list of users. However, obviously, in the case of the gravity forms function that I was talking about in my real-life use case for this, I can't have any of these, brackets or, like, what are those called? Quotation marks. Can't have any kind of commas, Well, actually, yes, you would have commas because it's a comma separated list, but you wouldn't have the other kind of punctuation there. That would be easy to kind of get it to clean up. So let's give CodeWP another shot. Let's say this worked, except it only added one email address to the list. There are multiple users per team. Let's see if it knows what I mean by that. It needs to be in a comma separated list. I know this is a little tedious, but I am going to get to another portion of this stream in a little bit. The reason why I want to do this is because we can modify our Gravity Form notification email, which is very, very difficult, and have it look at the value of this ACF field, which is why I'm going through all this trouble. This was a video that I wanted to make. I wasn't sure how widely, useful it would be, but when I came across this, it was pretty difficult to do, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool, but it was very tedious and very challenging to do. So this is definitely making this function a fair bit more complicated. It's achieving kind of the same thing. So we got this array unique, array merge situation, which we have over here, array unique. And there's not a merge function in the ChatGPT one. ChatGPT did get us there. Okay, so why did it take my copy away? No, don't do that. Why does it? All right, let me show you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to copy the text and it freaks out. Did I get all of it? I don't know. Copy file contents. Let's see if that works. So we'll turn off the ChatGPT one. Did it copy everything that I needed? No, that didn't work. How am I supposed to get it if I can't copy it? Did that work? Copy. Copy, copy. Maybe if I do it like 5 times, it'll work. Okay, now paste. There we go. I guess it just takes 5 times, that's all. We'll save this. Again, we want to go back to our global page and let's delete this to make sure that we're giving CodeWP a fair crack at this. We'll turn this on, go edit a user because that's when the function runs. Now if we refresh, cool, it worked. Hello, Chattin 105. Yes, there is a copy button, but it doesn't work. If I click this, then it doesn't seem like anything actually happens. See, I'm pasting, Control V. Nothing's happening. So we got there. We definitely got there with CodeWP with some UI UX annoyances and with a little bit of back and forth, just like we actually needed with ChatGPT. We were able to achieve, what we were after in this particular case. So would I say that this is on the surface better than ChatGPT in terms of this? No. But it seems like it has some potential. So now that we achieved this particular part, we're going to go create a new snippet. And this one is going to be, our mode and preset is going to be Gravity Forms. And this is, come on, I'm typing in, oh, okay, it did change down there. I just didn't see that. Got it. So now our mode and preset is going to be Gravity Forms. Can I change this back to chat? Yeah. Okay, this is what I want. So let's go ahead and create a form. We're going to just basically commandeer this one here. And we're going to have let's see. Let's do a radio button field here. In my real life use case, what I had was something like, which team do you want to notify? And then our choices were exactly what they were in the drop downs on the user's profile. So team 2 and team 3, like this. So what should happen is when the user, well, actually, let me add this to a page real quick so we can kind of see. We're going to go with gravity. I've noticed that Gravity Forms says this lately. I don't know if it's something to do with my environment or whatever, but it works on the front end just fine. So what should happen is when you fill this in, then you select which team you want to notify, and then what this notification should do is, based on your selection here, then it's going to go look at our global ACF field, grab the email addresses out of that field, and that's who it's going to address the notification to. So as you can imagine, that's very complicated, but Gravity Forms does allow you to modify the notification in real time. So kind of comprehensive. I wonder if it would be better to do this in the previous snippet that we already talked about, like already chatted with CodeWP on, or create a new one. I think the way that I would do this without overthinking it is I would just start a new conversation and just tell it I have a ACF global options of this. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I have a gravity form with a radio button field, and its possible selections are team 1, team 2, and team 3. Depending on what option is selected, the notification should look at the ACF global options page called global and check the field contents that match the Gravity Forms radio button. For instance, if the user selects team 1, then it will get the contents of the global options field called team 1 emails. Then the Gravity Forms notification to field should be addressed to that list of emails inside the ACF field. And you write me a WordPress function. I'm going to say a custom function to achieve this. Where'd it go? Whoa! What the hell? Where did my code go? At least I copied it. I'm glad I didn't have to retype that. That was weird. I like pressed enter and then it disappeared. Okay, so we're going to query ChatGPT with the exact same thing. So new chat, GPT-4. And then I'm going to just add the word WordPress, since this model isn't specifically fine-tuned for that. Okay, we are making progress just based on what I know from the function that I had in the real life client use case. This kind of like argar, change the field ID, that kind of thing. This is all looking pretty good. The one thing that's missing that I am 98% sure is required is what is the name of the notification that we're modifying. So like in the back end of the form, we would go to notifications and we might create one. Oh, there's actually one right here. So user notification. Let's change this to like team notification. And then for the send to email, it doesn't actually matter here because we're going to override it. So we could just say something like do not modify at codewptestsite.com. Then the from name would be the person's name that they enter in the field. And then this would be no reply at apexstaging.io. New submission. Okay, that will work. Let's actually change this. Let's just add the all fields operator here. That'll work. Okay. So now we have the notification to modify. So let's take a look. This code listens for notifications on a specific form. Replace the ID, like I mentioned, that's good. You may need to adjust the code to match your setup. Okay, well, I thought that's your job, not mine. Remember to place this code in your theme's functions. Got it. Yeah, we know. They're third-party plugins. Okay, so I don't remember exactly how I was able to copy this last time. Hopefully this doesn't take forever. So we should be able to go back to WP Codebox, new. We're going to do CodeWP so we can differentiate these. Modify GF notification. Okay, our field ID, I don't know. Our form is ID 1, that's convenient, and then our field ID is 4. So form ID is 1, field ID is 4. Okay, so this is building the array, so it's looking at our option and then our team1 emails. So let's save this and try to turn this on. And then let's see here. So on our global fields, our team2 is what we're going to need to select so that I actually get the real email. So let's go back to our homepage here. I'm going to say JJ Jern, just so it's something different. And then test to you. Okay. We'll submit this. I'm going to go check my email and see if it arrived. Almost certainly not, because it took me hours to get this working. No, nothing is there yet. Normally it's really fast. Interestingly, this looks very similar. This looks very, very similar. On the ChatGPT side, I should say. Let's compare these side by side. So we have our add filter, or function name, the form ID, selected team, build the map. Yeah, I mean, it looks nearly identical. So in this case, what I would do is go Gravity Forms, customize notification. So I want the docs here. Is it email routing? No, this is not the developer docs. Developers, here we go. Is it hooks? Actions? Filters? Gform notification? Filters, notifications. Here we go. What is the name of the function we were using? Gform notification, okay. Append text, changed to or to type settings for user notifications. That says it's deprecated. So that I don't think is what I want. Oh, okay, maybe this is it. Yeah, so I think what's missing here is this notifications array, because that needs to, like I mentioned, point to the specific notification that we are modifying. So I'm just going to say, I'm just going to copy, well, actually, no, that's not really useful. I'm just going to copy all of this, and I'm going to say, so that didn't work. I looked at the documentation and found the following. Can you tell me if any of this is useful? So I'm just going to copy this same exact thing into CodeWP. Okay. Targeting specific forms, we already got that. Notification name. Deprecated hooks. So it looks like it's going to modify the notifications for us, which is perfect. It's saying you can uncomment the next line if you want to target a specific notification, which we would definitely want to do, because otherwise we have two different notifications. So I don't think it's going to modify both of them. I think it's just going to kind of fail. Let's see what CodeWP gave us back. Here's an example of how you could implement this. I don't think that's going to work because there's just not enough information here. Unfortunately, Kyle, I kind of agree. It's just like it's not comprehensive enough. Look at the difference in the function that we're creating here. So it's just like I don't even really know the code well enough, but just looking at this, I can tell this is not going to work. It's unfortunate because the thing is, like, with these, with this tool being, you know, supposedly trained on these extra plugins and like these extra models, it's like, well, I would expect this to work even better than ChatGPT. Like, I would just assume that it knows these things. And I mean, even the difference between the first two, where was it? Even the difference between the first two here, like that code snippet the first time is more complicated than the second time. So what if I say something like, can you please combine the code snippets with your recommendations to make this work? I mean, if I hit enter in ChatGPT when I'm typing, doesn't it just send test? Yes, it does. Okay. I was just curious because that's really annoying. I don't like the fact that I have to control enter or command enter if you're on a Mac. Divida says, I was super excited about multi-file setup. I honestly thought I could work on more files than one, feeding it information from JS, PHP, etc., but sadly not the case. Yeah, I guess I can see that here with you having multiple files across the board. Well, did this product have like a beta period? Because it's supposedly launched now, right? Not supposedly, it is launched, but I guess the question is, did it have like some kind of beta period? This is not going to work. I can just 100,000 million% guarantee this is not going to work. And Jesus Christ, I can't copy the fucking code. Oh my God, that is infuriating. Why does that not work? I mean, the copy button doesn't work. I mean, look at how long this code snippet was the first time. Yeah, I can't copy it. So what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to click it? No. Damn, okay. There's just no way in a million years this is going to work. So now we'll go back to our home page. Team 2. Critical error. Bam, baby. Let's take what ChatGPT gave us. And then I'm going to turn, oh, that snippet is already off. So you can feel the rage through the screen or hear it, I guess. Modify GF notification. So your form ID is 1. Uncomment the next line if you want a specific notification. If notification name is, what did we say our notification name was? Team notification. Like that, okay. And then our radio button ID is 4. Save, turn this on. Yeah, yeah, Kyle, for real. Live demos, though. It's risky business. Okay, let's try this. Just ASD123, submit. Okay, did I get an email? Probably not, because this was, like I said, insanely complicated. Does the entry log? Okay, so this was two separate errors. Unable to send notification. The following from address failed, only one sender per message. What did I do there? Did I mess this up? So this is because of my send grid not being verified, but that's actually, that shouldn't be the case. Let me go double check that. That sender identity is definitely verified. I know for a fact that's true. But at least we have some more information. Unable to send. So I'm just going to give CodeWP the benefit of the doubt here and just drop in the error message, which is exactly what I would do for ChatGPT. And it let it figure it out. Oh, come on. That's not even what we're talking about. Please check your WordPress mail settings email section in your WordPress bio. Settings email. Where's that? Never heard of that. If you're comfortable with code, here's an example of how you can modify the from field of the notification. Oh boy. Oh. Actually, you know, I have used a function that, okay, I'm being kind of a dick when, yes. So I do often use a function, especially on development sites, to change the from notification for WordPress. Oh, what is it? Where could I grab that from? I'm trying to think. It's very simple. I don't have to use it all the time. I find I have to use it whenever I'm on subdomains like this. Let me see here. Where do I have that? Might just have to get it to make me a new snippet to see. I wanted to just modify the snippet globally. I wonder how far I can deviate away with CodeWP. Okay, I'd rather you create me a separate, simple WordPress function that changes the from email site-wide to no reply at apexstaging.io. So let's do that. So we're gonna tell both of these tools to give me a different notification. Where'd my thing go? What the hell? It did it again. Luckily, once again, I copied and pasted it. Yeah, so this is the function that I was talking about that I often have to use. Let's go to new snippet. We're going to just say modify from email. I don't really care about this part of it. We're going to say no reply at Apex staging, save, enable this. So that should work. And then just to see if this fixed our problem, now let's go look at our contact form entries. We'll look at the latest one. And did we get that same message? Yeah, okay, so that's got something to do with the actual notification itself then. Maybe it's to do with the admin one. Let's turn that off. That could be. That might be the problem, actually. I'm going to test it one more time now that I turn that off, and let's see if we get two different error messages. No, we don't. Okay, perfect. So this doesn't match a verified sender identity. It's so weird because I know when you do this, you're just modifying the to portion of the notification, not anything else. And that's why in the notification here, I have apexstaging.io. Why would that be? I'm going to look at the code from the snippet that I mentioned spawned this whole idea. Where is it? I have it somewhere. I know I was backing up these codes. Modify notification. Okay, here we go. I didn't have to do anything there. I knew that I didn't. I just wanted to double check. Yep. Nothing to do with the from email. That's really weird. It must be something to do with my environment. I wish I had a way. Oh, isn't there some kind of like logging, like email logging plugin? There's a way. Maybe does one of these SMTP plugins log everything that happens? I think Fluent SMTP does that, right? Have it make. I'm just going to install Fluent SMTP. I think it will just email logs. Here we go. Okay, so let's try to just go ahead and resend this. Team 2. And then let's take a look at our logs here. No data? That's good. This is why I told you this took hours and hours. Maybe this is a little bit of a rabbit hole to go down because let me show you the function that actually works. Yeah, but my hosting handles that SMTP for me, and I use send. Oh, that might be it. That might be it. I don't have the Gravity Forms SendGrid add-on. That is probably why. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this over here so I can pop in my API key. Of course, I got to log in, and that's going to be a massive pain. 1 second. It's mad about the verified sender identity because I don't have the API key in. That's why. There we go. What's my API key? It's probably not going to show it to me. No, we're going to go with test. Okay, so note to self, don't return to this screen on stream. Because it just shows your, your API key. All right, so now we should be able to, I'm just going to delete this stuff. So now we should be able to send this after adding API key. Submit. So now we shouldn't, I don't think, have any errors in here. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we? I wonder if it shows up in the log. Let's see if it shows up in the log. Probably not. It's probably not going to get that far. It's so strange. I know for a fact the I guess I wonder if maybe Fluent SMTP is getting in the way. Yeah, this is a de-evolution of this portion. See, but this is what I was having to work through on that client site. Kyle, I told you I was just going absolutely mad for like weeks and weeks. And you can see the rabbit hole that I was having to go down to get all this stuff to work. It's such a mess, such a mess. Eventually I did get it, but that was after weeks and weeks and weeks. So much work and headache and testing and clicking around and zooming and booming. The from address does not match a verified sender identity. I know it does. Don't tell me that. It most certainly does. So from is no reply at Apex staging. That's definitely not spelled incorrectly. Yeah, I don't think this function is actually going to make any difference because this was for stuff like password resets and that kind of thing. That's actually an interesting thing. Let's see if... Can I send myself a password reset from here? No, that's kind of a bummer. Password reset link sent. So whoever demo1@gmail.com is about to get a password reset to my site. I wonder if that will pop in through my SendGrid because that... No, well, that's just on Gravity Forms. It's probably not going to go through, actually. Oh, I wonder... Hold on. No, it's turned on in my hosting. I was about to say, I wonder if it's not turned in on my hosting. Okay, so we have gone way off track here. I'm going to go ahead and just axe this. Let's go ahead and just scrap all this. So the long story short is, I don't think that this kind of complicated stuff is really all that much better. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's operator error, but I don't think so. Because it's like the functions that I'm getting back are not any more optimized or any more like, you know, aware of what I'm trying to do in terms of these sort of modes and presets like ACF and Gravity Forms. Yeah, Dividus, I think that's a fair assessment. Not yet, anyways. It definitely could grow, and I'm sure that they're furiously working on this to try to make it better. It probably would have been better to launch with just WordPress, you know, native functions and maybe like ACF, rather than having all this other stuff, because I highly doubt that, you know, Bricks and Breakdance and Oxygen have any kind of extra, any extra flair to them. I was trying to think about the other plugins on my site to see if there was anything else that I wanted to try to do. I thought that WP Grid Builder was in here, but it's not. It's Facet WP, so I was mistaken there. But I mean, we got there eventually with ACF, but it was as difficult, if not more difficult, than just dumping it into ChatGPT. And it's tough because, I mean, when you want to use this kind of thing, typically you're going to be doing things that are fairly complex. So it's hard to say. I mean, I think that's all I really want to look at. I think I've gotten the information that I wanted to see, and probably you have as well. I know this last little portion was an email troubleshooting stream, but it still is all connected. I think the actual result here is not that. Yeah, Kyle, you're totally right. 10 months ago, mind-blowing. Today, it's like it gets there eventually, but I just was hoping that this would be more optimized and more just like simpler, easier, more honed in, and unfortunately that doesn't appear to be the case. So this answers the question that I had, was how much better is this? I think for now, until there's an update from the team here at CodeWP that they say, you know, this thing is dialed in, check it out, I think I'm probably just going to keep rolling with ChatGPT. I don't know. What about you? The other big thing is, even if this was like, let's say 10% more optimized than ChatGPT, these UI kind of issues are so damn frustrating. Like, not being able to copy the code easily is so frustrating, where I can literally just click this, one-click copy, and it actually works. Or I often find myself doing this just to make absolutely certain. But either way, that works. Feels more like a restricted ChatGPT than an optimized for WP1. Yeah, it definitely does seem like it. So I think that's that. I appreciate all of you for hanging out. Hopefully you got some value out of this, answered the question. What's the price? I have no idea. That is a great question. CodeWP.ai. Oh, wow, yeah. $18 a month, and there's restrictions. Let's see. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. $18 a month. 10,000 actions. I don't know what an action is. What does an action do? Yeah, Kyle, that's what I said. Before you hopped in the stream earlier, I was like, I'm using ChatGPT and I just canceled Midjourney because now there's Dolly. So why do I need both? I don't need to be spending $50 a month between the two of them. I can just stick with $20 a month for ChatGPT and have Dolly as well. And this actions and restrictions and stuff, like there's no more restrictions on GPT-4. So why would you need to do anything else? Oh, an action is a question? Are you serious? That's crazy. Sometimes I'm troubleshooting with ChatGPT trying to find a problem in a code snippet, and it will take 5, 10, 15 different questions and back and forth to try to get it to work. So actually, Diviatus, you are right. You mentioned earlier reasoning with it. I definitely do that. You're right. You're definitely right. Yeah, and also it doesn't let you go back to the main site when you're logged in. That's so weird. Okay, well, hope you all enjoyed this. Definitely answered the questions for me and hope the same for you as well. I'm sure this will get better in time, so maybe we'll look at this again in the future. But until that day comes, that's all for now. Thanks so much. Hope you all have a great Friday and a good weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.